Right then, welcome to Ryan's Road Podcast, episode 44. 44. And, because I'm doing this tonight, tomorrow's the 1st, so when you listen to this, it's been a year. 'Tis been a year of the podcast. Woo! I ain't got any party poppers. I ain't even got fucking James here. I ain't even got Echo here. Fucking, this is a terrible party. I'm on my own. Is what it is. So, I ain't been the best lately. I mean, in regards to like this content and stuff, and well, I guess a little bit of life. Oh, see, I'm already hitting shit. I think I wanted to do today just to kind of show the whole thing of how life isn't always fucking perfect. I mean, look, it's a year. I'd have liked. I think the start of this year, I said, running up to it, coming up the anniversary of the podcast, I wanted to be able to like fucking nail it, not miss anymore. But I missed a week, and then whatnot. For those of you that watch and listen to the podcast, so if you listen to this and it's like fucking 5 years down the line, you're not going to give a fuck and know what I'm on about. But from the last couple episodes, it's been a bit wishy-washy. And me and James did come in here on Saturday, today is Monday, to do the podcast. But just fucking, what would you call it, technology, computers being super douchey, and I was faffing with it for ages, and then like done the good old turn it off and on again. Thought I'd figured it out, and then couldn't get any volume coming out of it, even though I'd finally got the microphones working. And then when I come in the following day just to piss around, found that I didn't have any volume at all, not just through Logic. I had to unplug it and plug it in again. So either way, yeah, that's why a Me James podcast didn't happen that I haven't already released this week, because we tried and failed, so to speak. So yeah, and even says to the wife, it's hard doing this sort of stuff in terms of, I don't want to say you don't see any gain, because I don't want to imply that I'm just trying to do this for making money or anything like that, because it isn't. When I get people messaging me saying like that it's thought-provoking, that it's like casual therapy, and like when I've had other listeners that I talk to on Instagram telling me like I don't realise how much like I help and whatnot, like it's a beautiful feeling, and I wish I could have more of that. So I think it's like, what am I trying to say? Well, the way I worded it with the wife today is I'm getting comfortable again. I think it's because it was kids' half term, so I was at home a lot last week. I didn't have much work, so I just like had some time with the kids. Been a bit up and down with the fitness/vlog channel, so I haven't been putting the effort in there. So it's like the wife ain't feeling well, so I was very inclined to eat my food and just sit there. I'm going to round all this up to a kind of point, by the way. I'm not just talking about my life, just in case you're bored already. Yeah, says to the wife, like, I'd quite happily just eat my dinner, end of the fucking day, and just sit with my wife, watch something for a bit, just go fucking sleep, man. I'd have been quite content to do that. But I'm trying to build something with this, and it's fucking hard when I'm trying to build it around a job that I'm self-employed at. So like, if I don't put time, if I don't work at my work, I don't get work, if that makes sense, because I'm self-employed. Like, I've got to work to get the work, and then do the work as well. So I've got a lot to juggle and a lot to balance, and it's fucking hard. It ain't easy making time to do this sort of stuff. Like I say, I'd have quite happily just chilled tonight. But this is how we get things, isn't it? If I knew that I could be content in the long term, just doing family and work and little hobbies, then I'd do that. But I know if I don't do this sort of stuff, it'll eat at me down the line. What could I have done? What did I waste my time with? All that sort of thing. Because it's like a whole fucking, it's like I touched on before when I've said, it's that bloody dashboard of buttons, knobs, isn't it? Like in a music studio, there's so many different things to balance and tweak and turn and make sure you're getting the balance right with fucking everything. Because I want to have time with my wife, and because I've got to, like I always say, on anything you want that's good, you've got to work on it. So I've got to work on my relationship with my wife. So I've got a marriage. And I don't just mean like sitting down and having conversations about how we feel and all that sort of shit. I just mean spending time together, just generally, as well. There's that. I want to do the same with my 3 young sons. I want to be able to develop good, lasting relationships with my sons so they know the dynamic. Same with my dog that I've got now with Echo. You know, I want him to be a good, as the training course goes that I kind of piddle him with, a good canine companion for the next few years and whatnot. I have to do it with my customers for my work because I have to rely on them calling me back for more work. It's, you know, there's a lot. And then with the whole YouTube thing on the side of it, it's just like, imagine a can of worms, but that's just really fucking big. It's just huge. There's so much fucking to it. And the annoying thing is, I know what to do with all this shit. Like, I've been doing this for a year now with the podcast, and if I was able to make the time to put into this sort of stuff, I could have probably had 4, if not 10 times the growth I've had in my first year. And I know how to do that. Like, as I touched on in the last podcast about my like hyper obsessive stuff, stages that I get through, I did that with this, with online content and everything, to the point where, and I've been doing that quite bitty over the last like 5 or 6 years. And it got to the point where at the start of last year, I sat a 4-hour online course for how to, you know, start social, like online videos and whatnot. And I could have taught the fucking course, but it's making that time. So like, thought just daft stuff like for the podcast. All my thumbnails are just pictures from the videos, which is one of the number one things they tell you not to do. But I'm like, right, okay, I met the time to get in here, talk to you guys, get out, and then so I can still fit in time to see my wife and whatnot a bit. So that kind of goes, well, or I could stay in here longer, fuck around with like, what am I trying to say? The software you make pictures and shit, you know, graphics. There you go. Just to like knock up thumbnails and stuff. But that time might take away from me having the time with my wife. It's one of the things that I can't go full on balls to walls with my content, because then in 3-4 years I might have a really, really successful online presence and this might be my full-time job, but I'll probably be going through a divorce because I'd have neglected the wife, or my kids will be troublesome at school and whatnot, and like fucking about, getting in with the wrong kids and whatnot. And I say this because I've seen it. I've seen the fucking patterns. It's one thing I've always done since I was fucking year dot. I don't know how or why, but I've always managed to listen and step back, and I've always took on what's going on around me and what other people have said. The amount of times I've seen that fucking pattern, and it looks so black and white. Well, yeah, of course that's like that because you spent your time doing this. And it's an interesting thing how many people have that kind of perspective. I've done a job a week or 2 ago for a gentleman. No, the job was actually for someone else I already know, like a previous customer. I just had to go swap a smoke alarm in a flat. Normally in flats, you get young people living in flats. But this guy was there, and he looked old enough to be my dad. And like, as polite as I could, I said, like, you know, you're not the type of demographic like I expected to see here. And he opened up quite a bit, to be fair, and we got talking about his life and his past marriages, plural, and whatnot. And one of the stories he told me was about one of his sons, right? And I think it was something to do with an ear piercing. And he said that's one of his rules, like, you know, boys don't have their ears pierced. But he'd done it to kind of follow the crowd with his friends. And he said to him the analogy of like, do you want to be a sheep or do you want to be a sheepdog? Which I thought was nice. So we're on to a good foot. I thought, that's a nice thing to tell your kid. And anyway, trying to round it up, it was some gist about the kid lived with his mum. He was going to come out, but he'd had his ear pierced. That was it. He hadn't had it done yet. But he got it done when he went back to his mum's. And then before he come to go with his dad was like, well, you could take the fucking earring out. So apparently the mum went nuts, like, you ain't fucking telling him what to do, blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, either takes it out or he ain't coming with me. So then the ex-wife, or girlfriend, whatever, said, you ain't doing that, you're fucking leaving it in. So he said, well, he ain't coming with me then. He said, and that was it then. I didn't see him. And I was like, what? For the foreseeable future? He was, yeah, I ain't seen him since. I was like, what the fuck? He was like, well, it's black and white with me, isn't it? I was like, no! The world's full of greys. It's all grey. So yeah, it bloody baffled me. I said to him, I said, no, it's greys. There's so many greys. He's like, nope, there's no grey. It's black and white. I was like, holy fuck. It was nuts. I couldn't get over that. What was that? Because one of his examples again, he said he had a wife that was like, just wanted to stay at home and, be kept and whatnot. And then, yeah, basically the relationship fell apart. And I was kind of like, well, you're an idiot. Because he just worked all the time. Like long days, long weeks. He was never there. He's like, but she wanted to be kept. I'm like, it ain't black and white, man. So he's there, like, it's not his fault because he's saying, like, she wanted to be kept and, stay at home and everything else. And obviously to do that required all the money, so he had to work a lot. I'm like, do people just not fucking talk? Do they just go through... The guy was old, man. He was old enough to be my dad. Maybe even my granddad. I think he was, like, early 60s or something like that. And he was an old guy. He weren't old as fuck, but he was a mature guy. I'm like, do people not communicate? Like, that would be a simple conversation. Like, you have to monitor these things. They need to be monitored. Things just don't get stuck in the mud. Life moves. People's feelings change. People's characters can morph over time. We evolve, don't we? We change. Time goes. Things change. Things grow. Like, plants grow. Fucking things break. Everything needs to be maintained. I don't know if I see this because of the mechanic in me, sort of thing, but everything needs maintenance. So if he's like that and working all the time, and surely there must have been a bit where his wife started to be a bit unattentive. In fact, I'm sure I don't know if it was that married. The guy married like 5 or 6 times. It was nuts. But I know the last one he was on about then shared a bed for like 8 years or something. I'm like, well, you needed to sort something out fucking like 10 years ago then, mate. But yeah, with the working one, I'm like, you'd have worked a lot. Surely there'd have been a point where you'd be like, well, things aren't how they were a couple of weeks ago, or yesterday, or the month before. So you check in. Are you okay? Like, am I working too much? Do you want to see me more? And then when it's like, well, yeah, it'd be nice to see you more. It's like, but you want to be kept and live here and everything else. It's like, look, we can't do it both ways. So if you want me to be at home more, then we need to talk about the finances and where we're spending, and do we need to get a smaller house or a smaller car? Do you need to get a little part-time job? Or you talk, figure it out, figure this shit out. Which brings me to a nice point. If you're ever doing like Valentine's posts or anniversary posts or anything like that, I say posts, just could be general chit chat or even cards or anything, and you say the word perfect, I want to slap you. I fucking do. Because you're either lying to yourself or you're lying to everyone else. Because no one is perfect. Like, that word is so ambiguous. It's fucking nuts. And you can say the whole lot, perfect for me. But, especially in relationships, there is no such thing as perfect. There's the ones that put the fucking work in. So if you're in a relationship and you both work on it, even that won't say perfect. I'll just say that's a working relationship and it's fucking good. Because no one's fucking perfect. You all need to, again, maintain. And if you can both work on maintaining, then that's a relationship that works. So it's a working relationship, but it's also a relationship where each individual works on the relationship. So in that way, it's a working relationship as well. But you never sit back and go, oh yeah, this is perfect. Not bullshit, mate. If you're saying you're fucking perfect, double slap. Like, you're telling me that either you've never been there and pissed her off, or other way around, she's never done something and you've been like, you're a bit of a dick. Mate, I get it all the fucking time with my wife, both ways. Because that's what it is, we're all people. But we don't build it up, and we don't fucking blow up over it, and half the time, we're both kind of got to the point in the relationship now where we'll know, especially I will know, I'm like, I'm feeling like this just because I'm tired and I'm worried about this job at work, or because I haven't got the podcast up and whatnot. It's circumstantial. I've done a whole podcast about that on itself, about how a lot of the times it's so circumstantial, but people can't step back far enough to really see it. They just think it's that person. So they might be like, oh, that person's acted like this towards me fucking today or yesterday or fucking last week or an hour ago. And it's like, you just take that at like face value, don't you? Like, well, they've done that. They were wrong. It's like, yes, they were, but why might they have done that? Why might they have acted that way towards you? I've had to do it no end of time, especially when the wife was fucking pregnant. Fucking snapping at me, talk to me like shit. I ain't fucking having it. But I wouldn't jump back at her and go, well, you fuck off. Rah, rah, rah. Nope, I'd say, look, I know you're pregnant. I know you're tired. I know you're probably hungry. I know you're probably in pain and discomfort and everything else. But that doesn't mean you can do this or talk to me like that or say this. Like, I know it's harder to do that, but that doesn't make it fair. This is the thing. It's like, if you can understand, it's good to be able to understand it, but it doesn't make it right. So it's not an excuse, because some people who do that might see the circumstances and go, oh, it's because she's pregnant, or it's because he works a lot. It's like, yeah, great, that's a reason. Well done for understanding it. Don't make it an excuse. It's no fucking excuse. It just means they've got to work harder. Help them to see that. Work on the shit. Work. Work. See, Rihanna knew it all along. And I felt like it was good to kind of hit back on some of this stuff, because I believe I said it in like one of the first, either the first podcast or me very early on. I said that with like, I hate the term mental health. It's got such a fucking stigma to it already, even though it's still quite new. It sounds really pansied, doesn't it? But let's say like psychologically then, / mental health, just how we think, basically everything that goes on with us that's not related to our bodies. Because basically the analogy I gave was that with physical fitness, people don't go and smash a new diet plan and workout regime and fucking cane it for an X amount of time, get to a state where they're healthy and fit and strong and go, right, I'm done now, and just completely stop it all and just fucking carry on living how they like, eating all the shit they want, never exercising, never doing it. They maintain it. That's why people say, oh, I'll go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or I'd go on this spin class this week, this on a Thursday or a Wednesday. Like, you maintain it, don't you? You do a little bit regularly. That's what we have to do for our fucking heads. We have to revisit these things. I have to do it myself. I've listened to no end of podcasts and psychology fucking books and YouTube classes and shit, Jordan Peterson, etc., etc., etc. I've went through them all. And I'll go through them again. And I'll go through them again. And I'll step back every now and then. I'll reevaluate what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and why I'm thinking it and why the wife might be doing what she's doing. And same with the kids and same with my dog. Dog, earlier, puppy. Getting a bit fucking pissy when I'm getting him out the garden and I'm trying to dry him off with a towel and rub his paws and getting a bit fucking growly at me. I got annoyed. Wife saw me get annoyed. I wasn't annoyed at the dog. It's not the dog's fault. It's my fucking fault. Because when we got him, in the fucking training course we got, one of the first drills you do with your pup, the day you get the pup, every time you feed the dog, you go round them, you feel the paws, you check the teeth, you check behind their ears, and you do it every time you feed them. We did it for the first week or so. Ben was like, oh yeah, he kind of knows that now. Stop doing it. And obviously because it's been dry, we haven't had to like mop him down or wipe his paws or anything when he comes in from the garden. But because we have had a shitty day of rain, had to do it today, and he ain't used to it. Yeah, we do it every now and then when it rains, but he don't know the difference between, when I come in the house and it's rained, I need my paws wiping, and when I've come in the house and it's not rained, I don't need it. He don't know the fucking difference between that. So he's coming in the house, if anything, thinking, well, normally I'll just come in like, what are you doing? Get off me. What's this? I got pissed off at myself in the moment. Not afterwards, not me getting pissed off at the dog, and then later on talking to the wife and having a conversation about the dog, and then going, oh, actually, we didn't do this. And me going, oh, yeah, actually, yeah, if we'd have done that. Like, in the moment, I knew straight away, my fucking fault. I should have fucking done that. I've done it with the wife before as well. In the moment, been a bit shitty, maybe a bit snappy towards her. It's very, very rare. And I'll go, bollocks. That was me, that was. Shouldn't have done that. It's my fault. I could have done this to mitigate that. Yep. It's going to be better. I always tell the wife she apologises for the wrong things. That's a funny one. Thought I'd slip that in there. Oh, I had something then. Ping. Oh, it pinged. It's got. So this is the trouble with not planning my fucking podcast. Oh. Yeah, I will one day. I think it's going to be as the kids get older, innit? Like I can come in from work and just be like, oh yeah, the kids are out playing with their friends and shit like that. Like, oh yeah, sound. I'll plan a podcast. And before doing the podcast, that'd be fucking sweet, wouldn't it? So yeah, it's just I wanted to kind of hit back on some of the standard fucking points. Communication's that fucking big one, isn't it? Being able to step back's a big one. Questioning yourself. Oh, is it the wife I was on about the other day? Saying like, because a lot of people do this, where it's that feeling of like, you just want, you tell yourself you need a break or you need to get away. Is that the analogy I want to go with? Oh God, I'm going to have to edit that pause out. Fuck it, it's staying in. Sorry guys, it was a long pause. Suck it, eat it, weep. Sorry. I had a thing recently where it was a really good example of like not going with your emotion. I had a thing with a friend that messaged me. I read the message and went, whoa. That's just like caked in emotion with thick icing and a big fucking decoration on top. Jesus. And straight away I could put myself in their shoes. I'm like, they've had that information. And went, instead of trying to like step back and go, right, how best can they solve it themselves? And, you know, internalise the issue and try and figure out, you know, problem solving in their own mind. What could they do themselves with their own actions and time and whatnot? Instead they've went, who else could do it for me? Who else could fix it? Right. Ryan could do it. So I've read that and went, right, okay. Loads of emotion there. I myself had a lot of emotion in response. I was like, my head was like, well, you can fuck off. Fucking full on Oprah. Jerry Springer. If anyone remembers Jerry Springer. I could have went off emotion. Boom. Rocket. And I had a fucking song come as well. Because that's the problem when you know shit as well. Because you're like, I could have mixed that in. Like, you make them feel like that big. It's really bad when you know shit, isn't it? And you get emotional. Because you get tempted because you know it'll carry that much more weight. Because you know what you're fucking on about. But I didn't. Because I knew that would get me nowhere. And it wouldn't solve the problem. So I took a step back. I put together a nice reply, nice response. Hitting each point they'd pointed out. Kindly pointed out that they may be in a bit emotional, a bit jumpy. To like, you know, bit jumping the gun a bit. Bring them down. And then they came down. Right, yeah, Once they calmed down, I was like, fuck me, you act like a woman sometimes. Sorted. Neutralised. Best small example of ever. I've said this on the podcast before and I love it because it's a great example. My wife, my now wife, at one point wasn't my wife, was my new girlfriend. Who had a recent ex-boyfriend. Who was a cunt. Emotion, sorry. There's a bit of rare going on. Rare. Messages, shit. Says to my now wife. Reply to him and say you're sorry. She went, what? I don't fucking think so. You having a fucking laugh? No. Say sorry. Because you won't know what to do. Because when people are just used to raring, rah, I literally hear my sons do this. And they literally get to the point where the words are gone and they're literally just shouting in layers of level. So, you won't meant to this, I won't do that, no, I can't, They literally do that. The words just go. It goes from talking loudly to shouting loudly to just screaming. And one will just scream and the other one will scream louder and then another one will scream louder and the other one will scream even louder. If you do that and you're an adult, you want to fucking slap yourself. You're an idiot. Don't fucking do that. And you know you do it. But if you don't do it, you know you have done, or you know someone that does do it. Don't fucking do it. Step the fuck back. Think about what's going on in the conversation. Because half the time, again, it'll either be circumstances. It'll be like, actually, I'm really fucking tired. Or like, I'm actually worried about this. Or something else is fucking going on. So yeah, with that example, I was like, just message him and say you're sorry. Because yeah, he's a cunt for everything he said. But you shouldn't have replied with everything you said either. The first time they said something shitty, you should just ignore them. Because they're being emotional. Just ignore it. Just put it down. Neutralise it. So, of course, she was like, message saying, sorry for what I said. And she didn't get a reply. Nothing. Since then, barely any drama. Barely any. Because they know they won't get that fucking rise back off you. And some people, sorry to say it, some people are just fucking dumb, aren't they? And they can't get past that. So especially if you come across a fucking dumb person and they're raring and you just stop. All they can fucking think is roar like a kid. So when you don't roar back, they go, I don't know what to do. And they stop, they give up. So yeah, shit like that. The one last thing I'll hit you with, that's another one that I like to bring up regularly, is the voices in your head. Because these play a big part in the micro routines and even our full routines of our lives. And when I say voices, I mean your thoughts. Everyone thinks, you all have thoughts. And the best way I always word these is we feel like they're our thoughts because they're in our head and we're thinking it, etc. Blah de blah. Try and think of them like they're something or someone else talking to you. Because half the time they're there to fuck you in the arse. They really are. They're the thoughts telling you to use that emotion. They're the thoughts telling you to just, like my thoughts this evening of just, I could just chill with the wife and not come and do a podcast. Those thoughts hold you the fuck back, but it's so deceiving because it's like your best friend being there telling you, nah, it's okay, right? Like, mate, I know you. I've been your best friend for years, since we were kids. We're basically brothers, and it's me talking to you. I'm telling you, it's all right. You don't need to do a podcast tonight. Chill with your wife, man. Like, you got to put that time in, ain't you? Like, because you want a good relationship, and you do miss him. You want to do this, don't you? Of course you. And why would I question him? He's my best friend. He's been there since, obviously I'm metaphor here. Why would I question it? Because it's reliable. It's that friend that's been there as long as I've been there. Why the fuck would I question it? But just like in life, where people have actual friends like that, and then whether it's in a film or you've heard a story from someone else, whether you experienced it yourself, it's a separate person. So there's still that little bit of doubt there. Because of that one time you heard someone else like that went and shagged their fucking missus or something. Or just went and got a promotion and like jumped over them, fucked them in the arse. You got to imagine that's your thoughts. Even though they're in your head and they've been there forever and they're saying all this nice stuff to you and you trust them because they're your thoughts in your head saying all the fucking things that you think are okay. Second guess it. Step away from them fucking thoughts like it's a separate fucking person and have a conversation. Don't just listen to them. Don't just listen to the thoughts. Have a conversation with them. Talk to them. Because 9 times out of 10 you'll find, you cheeky cunt, you were trying to hold me back. That's going to make things worse. Don't tell me to fucking do that. Don't tell me to go and do this. Don't tell me to say this to that person. Don't tell me to go down that road. Don't tell me to go and get this or eat this food or not do this workout. Fuck you. You're fucking me up. Obviously, it's easy for me to say, sat in my cosy chair with my feet up on the other chair because James isn't here. But you can do it. It's doable. And if you can try and do it in the little, hardly stressful situations, you can do it in the larger, bigger, stressful situations. And it might help you out. So, yeah. It's been an interesting year, hasn't it, with the podcast? Like, what are we on? 44. something like 52 weeks in a year, something like that. So is that roughly 9 or 8 episodes I think I've missed out of the first year. I'm happy with that for a first year. And also, the weird thing is when you hear people where they've been doing something for a while. Like, I don't know why, Lewis Hamilton comes to mind because he's so accomplished in his career. And I've heard him say before, I feel like I'm just starting. And I do. It probably seemed... I'm probably saying that now. People are like, well, yeah, you've only been doing it a year. Fucking idiot. I'm like, you go do something for a year solid that you get no immediate reward from. That you don't even know is going to work. That you can't even guarantee is going to work. Like, I have the shitty voices in my head, the ones that... I didn't even get into the ones that are fucking actually shitty and talk crap to you, that are like the worst enemy you've ever had. And they're also the shitty thoughts in your head. They're fucking horrible. Because they're the ones that I get that will come along and be like, yeah, mate, you're going to do this podcast for fucking 10 years, barely get any fucking listeners, and then sit there and go all the time fucking spent recording those fucking podcasts, and like eventually if I get to the point of researching them as well, that'll be even more time put into the podcast. Doing all that and get fuck all anywhere with it. I'm going to go all that time I could have been spent extra with my sons or with my wife or pursuing something else I enjoy. Like, that's fucking horrible. But people barely stick at fucking jobs half the time that they get paid for a fucking year. Like, I'm chuffed to fuck I've hit a year. Like, it ain't short. And it's fucking hard. But at the same time, as long as it also feels like 2 episodes ago was my first one. Or this one was my first one today. It's a strange feeling of like, you know, you're aware of the time and the feeling of effort that's been put into it. So it doesn't literally feel like, oh, I've barely done anything with this. Felt like I've done it yesterday. It's weird because you get the depth of it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, maybe breezy would be a word for it. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm happy that I feel like there's loads of room to grow, and I'm happy for it to grow. The podcast as a whole, I think it's going to come through gradually, and it's nice. Like, I'm looking forward to sitting here when I'm fucking 50, still just yakking away about life, and my kids have grown up and hopefully still married with the same wife by then. As a testament to the way I think. Like, if I can get to the point where I've got all my kids fully functioning adults, and like still a happy working fucking marriage, and a dog that's been great. Maybe I'm the next dog by then, I guess. Then it would be great because it might help give these early podcasts some more weight. For then, you know, I'm doing those podcasts and people are coming new to the podcast then, and be like, how did it get like this? And then they can come back and listen to these early ones when I'm fucking 33. And badgering on. What if my kids will ever listen to this shit? I doubt it. Motherfucking doubt it. Right. I'm going to love you and leave you. Because, as I said, I want to go spend some time with my wife. Especially because she's ill. She's probably going to fall asleep early. And if she does, I'll probably play Pokemon Arceus. Yes. Slightly plug in the new channel. I touched on it last week. The fitness channel is now going to be a vlog channel. It's basically, I say vlog channel, I'm just going to be going on there doing videos about all the stupid shit I get into. Like Pokemon and fucking RC cards and now Warhammer and cars in general and fitness and jiu-jitsu and Beyblades and fucking all sorts of shit. Everything and anything I get my teeth into and that I love and get an interest in, I'm going to do videos on it and put it on there. That's what I'm doing. Because I want an outlet for all of that. And it's very me. So it's just going to be straight up Ryan's Road, YouTube. The podcast will be unaffected, apart from me generally talking about it. So, yes. I'll leave it there. It's been a nice solo one this week. I hope I've managed to bring some value to you. Always drop me a comment if there's something that's maybe been a bit thought-provoking, made you think, give you an idea. Maybe you want to rebuttal me. Tell me I'm full of shit. Drop me a comment. Comment, like, what's the best thing? YouTube is best likes. If you're watching the video, just give the video a like, because I think that's really good for YouTube. And it shows that you literally like it. So if it sees people are liking the video, literally like it, then it goes, oh, they're liking this. We'll share it out to more people and see if they might like it. That's the best way on YouTube. Hampt always says with the podcasts on the platforms, I think you can leave a rating. I've never done that myself, to be fair, on podcasts I listen to on podcast platforms. Because you don't, do you? You just fucking listen to it, and then when it finishes, you go on to the next one. Because after time, it's just in your pocket, and you're just listening to it. But if you've got the strength and willpower to take it out your pocket and look at it when I stop talking and say bye, and find somewhere where you can put stars or something, that'd be fucking cool. So yes, I'm going to go. Love you all. I might try and get another one out this week if I'm feeling brave, if I can make the time. Now that I've got the microphones working again. Yes. Right, I'm off. Love you all. Don't be afraid of the day.